Hey everyone, welcome back to Tiny Mushroom with your hosts Jack and Zach. And today we're going to be discussing the upcoming standard year rotation for Hearthstone, specifically the Year of the Mammoth. Now, recently, Hearthstone hasn't been in the greatest of fashions. It hasn't been like the most. The community's had a little bit of a bitch and moan recently. Would you agree?
A little.
Malfurion versus Garrosh.
Fly, Polly.
Who goes there?
I'm in charge now.
For the wild.
My magic will tear you apart.
We're gonna be rich.
Just okay, yeah. There's been a lot of negativity from this game from like the fan perspective and from the core audience, not just with like fat casual-ish fans like me and Zach, but with like professional streamers who are outright quitting ranked play.
The funny thing with that is the irony is that they rely on this game to earn a living. And some of them are the prime people like egging on the community, so it's really interesting to see them go against Blizzard so much when they know they have to rely on them so much as well.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like it's just like I'm not going to turn up to work today. Never mind then.
Oops.
Oops, sorry.
Can't do that.
Can't turn up today, Mr. Broad. I don't like you anymore.
Yeah, credit to Blizzard though, they have put some changes through. With Ben Brode at the top now, he's putting a lot more sort of user content on for people to watch and
like rap videos about Ungoro Crater.
I wish he put those up, but those are very good community videos. But what he's actually doing, he's putting up so interesting little, not like big Jeff Kaplan things from Overwatch, but just snippets of things that we need to know and how the game's going. It's just reassuring the community, basically, just having a little bit more communication than there was before, and people really respond to it. If you look at the top things on Reddit now, a few of them are saying that thank you to Ben Brode for putting the changes in that he has and making the community a bit more of a less salty place.
We've already seen big changes anyway, what with the amount of nerfs and tweaks and balances and the whole standard rotation we've seen. But as a long-term player, I think that the Year of the Mammoth and some of the changes that it's going to bring with it are a little bit scary. So let's start talking about like the big one, I think, is that adventures are gone.
Yeah, when you look at the year, for me it was always looking at when the adventure came out before the big sort of card expansion, because that was what I looked forward to most, and that I could have this really cool PV opportunity, which is really rare in this game.
Yeah, definitely, because obviously one of the things that sets Hearthstone apart is that it does have like, quite a lot of lore behind it, and it has like such a nice, really rich, unique backstory.
It's not only that, they're creating their own lore through the adventures.
Exactly, yeah, because you already had Curse of Naxxramas and Blackrock Mountain, which were really steeped heavily in Warcraft lore. But then you have League of Explorers, which is still based on I think half the characters in it are real, but it just goes on its weird random tangent and just uses features from the Warcraft universe, and it was brilliant. And you even had like unique boss interactions where it's just escaping from a mine.
Yeah, simple things in a writing perspective, but put into the card game setting, in interactive card game setting rather, is a really dynamic feature. And they're gone.
Yeah,
Poof.
Cheers, Blizzard.
Yeah, it brings in, not only are the adventures gone, but they're making us collect a lot more cards during a year.
Yeah,
which puts into the question the free to play aspect of the game.
Let's giant quote marks here.
Yeah.
So, how is the expansion release going to work from now on? So we're probably going to be expecting the newest expansion, Ungoro Crater. End of April. That's when the year's going to rotate. So from the end of April 2017, how many expansions are we going to get roughly?
3 up until winter this year. So there'll be 3. So there'll be 1 in April, 1 sort of late summer, I'm guessing, and 1 at the sort of November, December time this year. And then that starts again next year.
So in the space of 1 year, we're expected to have 3 expansions, which have about 130 cards each. Now, I think
on your best pack opening odds, which we don't have, that's
I used to before
you met me.
Yeah.
There's probably about 80 packs with the best possible results, and obviously not getting all the legendaries. You're just getting the commons and rares and most of the epics. Like, imagine paying like this. So the pre-order for us, I know it's $50 in America for 50 packs, but for us it's £45.
Yeah,
50 packs. So we're gonna have to pretty much do 2 of those 3 times a year. So it's £270 a year just to keep up.
This is for people who like don't play as much. Let's say if me and you just wanted to go in and be like, let's just put our money on the table right now and just get the expansion and just have it. This is really upsetting like a lot of people's habits, I find.
This sucks for me. This basically is... It started now, even in the meta that we have now in ranked. It's moving me towards arena in this expansion because I can't basically stand the meta as it is at the moment. And the next expansion is simply because I can't keep up. And then when the decks are refined within 2 or 3 weeks of the release, there's no way I'm going to be able to get into the higher ranks with those decks. I enjoy playing gimmicky decks. That's probably what I'll do. But
shut up with your Beast Druid and your Dragon Priest and your...
Beast Druid isn't gimmicky. That was solid. I'll be moving into the arena just because I can't keep up with all these expansions coming out. So I mean that's great for arena because the changes that have happened there make it far less stale and much more vibrant and interesting. So I'm looking forward to that aspect of it, but definitely not the ranked aspect.
Yeah, ranked is going to be suffering a few issues. Although I must admit, I've tended to notice that over the last few weeks and months leading up to this big change, Blizzard has decided to make a few more incremental changes leading up to it. I mean, we've already had, as you mentioned before, standard arena is now a thing. Now, I'm not an arena player, but I think you've really been enjoying it recently.
For sure. It's gone back to the old ages where you had to play around lots of AoEs and the normal spells you expect in arena, but because it was so saturated with lots of expansions on top of those classic spells, and with the same occurrence rate of spells as minions anyway, you could just forget about playing around Flame Strike because it's not worth losing the tempo for. Whereas now you're actually scared of it again, which is nice to go back to those times. And maybe not nice to have Mage at the top of the list again, but still we've got a much more even class spread. I
like that you're so positive about Arena because we've had a little bit of positivity around the changes to Ranked as well. Because obviously now
Small-time Buccaneer.
Yeah, no, not just that. Even I was actually referring to the the ladder system.
Oh, okay.
Because now that you can't drop below, is it every band of 5? So once you get to rank 20, 15, 10,
roughly,
and 5, yeah, you can't drop below that point. Now, I'm a person who just hates tilting. So nice knowing that you can have that safety ladder over. You will not drop below this rank, even if you have the worst
gimmicky decks are fine no matter where on the ladder you want, because it doesn't matter if you... Usually people that play gimmicky decks don't care about their ranking.
Yeah.
But even those that do care about their rankings can play that now, and that should freshen up the meta and hopefully stop people from net decking so much, because that's essentially a massive...
breaking out of the quote marks again.
That's just a massive cancer in our game at the moment. And if you look at the likes of Magic the Gathering and other games, there's a lot less of that going on, and you see a much more vibrant meta game going on, whereas Hearthstone can't do that because of the reason that people want to climb as high as possible, as quickly as possible, whereas with this, at least they can take breaks incrementally.
Let's talk about the nerfs, because you briefly mentioned the small-time Buccaneer nerf. Now, yes, I know. Finally. Now, over the years, we've seen quite big nerfs in Hearthstone. We've rarely seen singular card nerfs, but we tend to think of them as the Undertaker nerf, the Unleash the Hounds nerf, the Grim Patron nerf.
Yeah, with Starving Blizzard, the Unleash the Hounds as well.
Yeah.
Killed the card.
Yeah, pretty much.
War Song with Grim Patron. We had the Druid, Force of Nature, combos, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, you tend to see giant swathes of cards being nerfed, but for the first time, I think Blizzard has nerfed just 2 cards, which were a right pain in the dick for people.
I think they've got a long way to go. I mean, they're going in the right direction for sure with making these changes. Not necessarily more often, but like you say, being more succinct in doing it and not being scared to do 1-offs or 2-offs. Whereas they've got a long way to go to match my sort of perfect model of nerfs is Overwatch, where they have the PTR. Basically, Hearthstone needs a PTR. It's quite simple. And to experiment with these certain things, because they're clearly scared of putting these nerfs live until it's been tested to ridiculousness when they've done it. And even so, I don't think that when they're looking at the game, they're not putting nerfs into their versions of the game to test. They're just quite happy sitting there knowing that there's roughly 6 equal classes being played, no matter if they're all Reno, and they say that's a diverse meta. Yay! So I think they've got a long way to go in this. In that, I want to see every month balance changes come around.
Here's what I want to ask though: do you think we'll ever see buffs to cards?
Yeah, eventually, like we've seen in the last few weeks, with the community in such an uproar, we've forced change, and I think eventually when it comes to the place where there's so many cards in the game, it just becomes so saturated with essentially cards below the playable tier, when there's like 80% of those around and they're just not being played except for an arena, then eventually I think there'll be a pressure on Blizzard to essentially sort of validate people spending money on these cards that are underneath the playable tier, and eventually we'll see them. Maybe not buffs to the extent where they'll be played, but buffs to the extent that at least we can put them in fun decks or experiment with them at least.
Yeah, at least make them, on curve. Maybe like an extra attack or extra health or something like that. I agree that we should probably see buffs because, it would validate packs. Wouldn't it be a lot... This is not talking from a developer standpoint. This is talking from, like, a fan standpoint. But surely it would be better to have, buffs incrementally, say, every 2 months, and encourage you to go and buy the packs and encourage you to try out these new cards rather than punish players who are...
Another thing alongside that, though, is taking away the ability to buy packs that aren't in circulation at the moment. So, like, your GVG... your Next Mammoth Adventure. There's no need to buff there's no need to touch those because they're not in ranked, they're not in arena anymore. They're only in wild. Which
what's that?
Blizzard just don't care about it. Exactly. So perhaps going against my original point, if Blizzard keep on doing that, keep on bringing us away from buying the packs that aren't in circulation anymore in the Year of the Mammoth or whatever's next, then there won't be buffs because the card pool won't get saturated enough to do that.
Going back to briefly what we said about, having these 3 expansions a year, part of me's worried they're going to be quite stale and less impactful as well. Because I still think in recent memory, the most impactful expansion, or just general release, has been League of Explorers.
Yeah, not even a full card expansion, just an adventure.
Yeah, just an adventure, which was probably the best adventure they ever put out.
And also not duplicating cards that have been rotated out, actually creating new mechanics and putting them in. Whereas I think in the next expansion, we're going to get like the new, like for example in the last expansion we had like the new Sludge Belcher, we had the new like the 4-drop Shredder. We're going to have that all over again, but with the cards that are rotating out.
Heck, they might have even used Adapt because obviously some Discover cards are going to be rotated out with League.
Yeah, that's true.
So that I've only just realised that.
Yeah, so they are sort of reprinting cards in that aspect, but not making it too
How long
obvious.
until we get Dr. Boom again?
Yeah, I watched a Jeff Perino the other day, and one of the questions was, what is the only doctor in the game? And it was Voodoo Doctor. Those were simpler times, weren't they?
Easy. Yeah. The good old turn 1 Voodoo Doctor, that was good. That was the best days of Hearthstone when every game lasted 25 minutes. Last thing I just really want to bring up, like with the big changes this expansion is going to bring, is the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people have mentioned cards which have been consistently strong.
Yeah,
and people
Azure Drake is a big one in there, where it's just included in every mid-range to control deck.
Yeah, because it's just the perfect. I'd say it's not even like a fair card because it is quite above. Not only do you get spell damage and draw, it's a dragon as well.
It's a really easy card to abuse as well, like Gadget Auctioneer. Even if you make that a 7-drop, it's been nerfed twice to a 6-drop now. Even if you make that a 7 or an 8, in some decks it will find a way. Like
Gadget Sound finds a way.
TM. It's the same thing. If you make Azure Drake a 6 or a 7, it will find its way in some decks. So it's in some ways it's poorly designed because of that. But in some ways, you can't help it. If it seems to fit well in the classic expansion, didn't it? It's maybe with the cards that have been introduced, that makes it abusable in that sense.
Yeah, definitely. But I like that they're introducing this idea of, the Hall of Fame, where we had this worry, about the Evergreen set and the Classic set. And as much as I love the cards that are being taken out, I can see it because how long has Sylvanas and Rag been respective king and queen of the late game?
To be fair, after GVG and Nax got rotated out, they've been proper staples because Boom is gone, which is in between those two, which is a 7 in between 6 and 8. So it's really easy just to slot those two in and sacrifice another card just to give yourself a decent curve. Whereas when they go, maybe Gruul's going to come back. Illidan.
I wish. I unpacked a Golden Gruul. I haven't used in years.
Yeah, well, maybe not on that extent, but at least in the next expansion will...
Fuck you for going down my dreams of having a, concealed Gruul deck, Blizzard.
Hey, we had Ken this year. Ken came back. It's possible. So, you never know. We're going to see some underpowered legendaries. We're going to make the late game fun because it's going to be more competitive rather than just having, one-hit Rag.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to make the control games at least, be a bit more interesting at the end. Although they are anyway, because you know who prefers aggro over control.
It also frees up a bit of design space because I very very much doubt that any 6-drop legendary and any 8-drop legendary is going to be better than Rag and Sylvanas.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's a few other cards that got nerfed as well. Conceal, because fuck rogues after after all these pirate decks.
I just want to go back quickly to Sylvanas. I feel really sorry for that one because it is a card which you can use in various ways. So, for example, priests can kill their own Sylvanas, or they can trade effectively to get the most out of it, or whatever. Whereas Rag is just here's some RNG on the board. You have no control of it. Let's go. Whereas Sylvanas is actually a thinking person's card, which is why I want to keep it in. Whereas Rag, yeah, fine, it can go because it decides games unfairly, just like Dr. Boom and its boom bots.
I suppose I can see where you're coming from. And we won't see any more Hearthstone highlights of, Rag Snipe on the full board.
Exactly. Well, we will in Wild.
We don't talk about that place, man. They've also really decided, go after the archetypes as well by getting rid of Power Overwhelming, getting rid of Conceal as well.
I can see that on the front of the Faceless Leroy combo, which is completely their fault. What were they thinking in printing those two cards? Whereas Power Overwhelming, again, is a thinking person's card.
See, I personally disagree. I do side with the devs on this instance where it encourages you to just almost play Zoolock entirely because a lot of the classic cards are just cheap commons, and suddenly you can just combat like a Dr. Boom like level card with a buffed up Flame Imp.
Well, let's hope the control of Warlocks can find different cards to use in effective ways rather than essentially using the cards that your aggro Warlock used in a ridiculous face sense to just win the game as soon as possible in a different way. So we'll see.
I'm quite a fan of the Hall of Fame just in general because we've already talked about the prospect of nerfs and how we tend to go through the habit of let's disenchant the card when it's nerfed and then re-enchant it when we realise it's either good or if it's trash just leave it.
Did you say that on the front of nerfs? Essentially what nerfs do is the same as the Hall of Fame. They take a card out of the game because they nerf it so badly.
But at least we get the dust. At least we get to keep the card for other purposes like brawls and wild. I want to see this game steadily improve over the last few years, and the reason we bring this up is because we haven't quite seen accelerated improvement yet.
It's so slow. It's as soon as the fire of Reddit overboils, then we see a small change, and then it goes down a bit, and then it builds up, and then all of a sudden everyone's crazy.
Exactly.
And we see a small change, and it can't keep on going on like that.
Going into the year of Mammoth and going into this year of not only just big change, but also coming out of a bit of an instability year. I think the one thing we want to see is just have that community interaction, have these regular updates, have a reason for having 3 expansions a year rather than nutting adventures, away. We really just want this game to do better over the next few months because we got a little bit tired of it. But you know what? I think I'm willing to put some of my faith into the developers because we've come out of
some.
Yeah. So
I'll just do it myself.
That's it. Give me some cards.
Come on, custom Hearthstone.
Come on, our custom Hearthstone. Yeah. Let's not have these really elongated periods where we go almost half an expansion without a nerf. I think this is going to be one of those things we just have to wait until we get this expansion.
At the end of the day, it comes down to what cards they print. They can make the meta how they want it to by what they print, and we just got to wait and see.
Shadow Razor decks. We can't even do Conceal anymore. Thanks for watching our thoughts on the Year of the Mammoth and Hearthstone going forward. If you follow some of the links over to the right, you can watch some of our other Hearthstone
we
videos.
We think it's over there. We're assuming.
You can watch our absolutely horrific pack opening that we did on the Mean Street Together stand. If you have any thoughts, put them in the comment box and let us know. And also, please like and subscribe if you enjoy our content and want to see more of it. So, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.